Hello all! It is Thursday, so here's your Patreon video. You notice I am got my workstation mostly back in order after repainting. This light is creating a better overall webcam image, but it's creating a flare in the background, so I'm still refining. But overall, I think this shot is a lot better in terms of light than it was before. And that patched hole is no longer in the wall. So that's good too. Lady Bits episode 2 is also coming along quite well. I'm in the process of not just writing the funnies, but also processing your feedback. And one of the things that resulted in is a more functional working definition of the term sexism. Because, of course, when you ask the question, what's the difference? Where's the line between a sexist moment and a completely sexist game? You have to deal with the definition of sexism, and the dictionary definition is not at all helpful because it is prejudice, stereotyping, and discrimination typically against women on the basis of sex. Well, that says absolutely nothing. It's sort of a self-referential description. And so based on your feedback, I distilled the working definition of sexism for the program to be ideas or behaviors that perpetuate the dominance of one gender over other genders. And the reason I like that definition is it makes it much easier to identify and quantify sexism. Because it just means just because something's sexy, well, if that sexuality doesn't make one gender more dominant than the other, then it's not sexist, right? It really has to do with that power imbalance. Now, that led to some interesting analysis, and it's kind of interesting how the series is starting to layer that, we touch on objectification a bit in episode 1, which means we can build on the later episode about straight up objectification, getting into, not just reflected objectification, but the actual dynamics of how objectification works when game characters are actually objects. It's going to be nice to be able to unpack and extrapolate on that. This second episode is actually far more directly tying into the whole damsel in distress idea than I initially saw it doing, which is cool because it means we'll be able to touch on it, and then everybody's going to be but, and then we'll be able to get into it more on a later episode. So I'm happy with the way there's an interplay between episodes. Still beating my brains in about a patch design. Because the most popular image so far is the Beelzebub chibi, but I don't want to do a t-shirt with that and then a patch with that. I want it to balance, and just finding something that is fun and evocative and people are going to want to put on their stuff, but isn't, either too bland or too cheeky. It's really proving a challenge. And what is also a challenge is finding a day and time. I think it's going to be next Wednesday that we're going to do the Lady Bits episode 1 follow-up, because that doesn't get too close to episode 2. Could be wrong. I could be shooting episode 2 Wednesday next week. Can't do both. But that's been the problem. I've been doing some consulting fulfillment and things like that for the higher backer tiers on the Lady Bits Kickstarter, and it went very well. It's been interesting. I like consulting. I wish I could do it more. It's nice to be able to help people develop their projects and share in their enthusiasm and stuff like that. But it has meant I've been all over the place, and that has been a real challenge when it comes to writing. I did a lot more contentious content this week than I'd originally intended to. And that is in large part due to your feedback, which I appreciate. I find that the content that you guys suggest tends to be better received than, because it's actually of interest. I don't have to guess whether people are going to be interested in this. It's actually of interest. And whoops, I punched my own headset. But I'll get more into that on Feedback Friday. But just privately, I wanted to thank you guys for being engaged and using those feedback mechanisms of saying what you like, what you want to see, of being supportive of the project. I mean, I think we can very accurately say now that it is more than possible to talk about women in gaming without it turning into a giant garbage fire, and that this whole idea that gamers just hate women and whatnot is just fundamentally wrong. It's a false assumption. And you know, the Lady Bits videos aren't getting 250,000 views yet. They'll climb, but they're getting enough views now. It's over 6,000 views now, 928 thumbs up, only 16 negatives, and 350 comments without the whole thing being a raging garbage fire. That shows it can be done. And it's, I just saw that my NBC video got demonetized. Jerks. The Texas video got demonetized too, but I'm going to leave that one just because I don't care. But, yeah. YouTube's algorithm drives me crazy. Again, that NBC video got 168 likes. It's, this content is successful. And you guys are making that happen because the YouTube monetization algorithms encourage you to do things that shock people and make them angry, so it distributes virally and you get a lot of people yelling at you, so you get all this engagement, and it drives your content. But that's exhausting for everybody involved. The thing that is so important to me about the whole process of Lady Bits, and even doing something, that quick and dirty video on the NBC video, people feel like it's benefiting them. People feel like it's of value and it's actually generating decent conversation instead of everybody just fighting and, getting mad. And we need that. We need that much more than another, YouTuber with 1 million views. We need that as a community. We need that as an industry. The only people willing to fund that, the only people willing to promote that right now is you guys. So this stuff is happening because of you guys. And I know some of you guys have been following my stuff from back in the Gamergate days. And I remember you saying to me, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Well, by financially backing work like this and being part of the process and engaging and risking, you're doing it. In our small way, we are making the conversation better. We are making the conversation more productive. And that is more important to me. I don't know about you, but that's more important to me than what opinions win the day. The process, getting the process down and good and useful is far more important in the long run than any given set of opinions. And I hope you guys can feel just a little bit good about that, or a lot good about that. You deserve to feel good about that. You help fund it. So I'll leave that there. Thank you again. Thank you for having faith in it. Thank you for supporting this process and this work. Man, even the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC gameplay video did okay this time. I was going to show you guys more of that. Maybe I'll do that next week because I know you guys like gameplay, but I don't have time to do the editing. When I do the live voice, maybe I'll do that next time. I'm also thinking about doing gameplay live streams, like just shooting the shit type things for patrons only. There's a video feature through Patreon that actually allows us to do it that way. So I got to figure out how to make that work, but I may start that when I find the time. Right. That time thing. But yeah, thank you again.